Hi, it's Bumble. Welcome back to my channel. So, I wasn't originally planning to see this movie. What ended up happening was that Christmas 2025, every year in the family, we do a white elephant. And I participated this year. I participated the last couple years. Usually I don't really get anything that exciting. Sometimes it's just a bunch of like water bottles or whatever. And anyway, one of the things in the white elephant was AMC gift card. And I ended up winning that, and I was really excited because I'm the person in the family that really likes watching movies. Everyone in the family kind of knows. So I was like, okay, cool. I got to go to the theater. It was weird timing though, because like I didn't really know about too many movies that were coming out or anything. Like, the only ones I had previously wanted to see last year were Frankenstein and Wicked for Good. I only got to see one of those in a theater anyway. Like, I knew there were a couple movies that were out that I was like a little curious about, like Avatar, the Fire one, and Zootopia 2. But I don't really like going to the theater alone, and I thought maybe these are movies I might end up watching with like friends anyway. So I invited my dad to go with me. I picked I let him pick the movie, and he picked Anaconda. So yeah, that's basically the background on why I was going to see this movie. I've never seen the original Anaconda, so two things with that going into this, like, my thoughts video. I can't say if it's faithful to the original because I've never seen the original, so I'm purely judging this like as a standalone thing. I also don't know if this is like a remake or a reboot or like a spiritual sequel. So yeah, that probably affects things. So this one is about this group of friends. They decide to go to this jungle. I'm pretty sure it's in Brazil because they show that giant like Jesus statue that you always see in movies about Rio, and they want to make a remake of Anaconda, and it's just a small team. It's going to be like an indie film, and there's like 4 of them, but it's really only like Jack Black and Paul Rudd's characters that end up getting like any character development or anything, because like Jack Black's character, I'm so used to him playing characters that are like kind of a bit irresponsible and goofy, so for him to be like the responsible one in this is kind of interesting, where he's this dad who dreams of being like a writer for movies and stuff and making his own movies, and especially anything with horror. And then Paul Rudd's character is like an actor that just can't catch a break, really. Moved out to LA. It's like him and Jack Black's character were like supposed to move out to LA together to achieve their movie dreams, and only one of them went. So there's like a little tension between the two, but they're like childhood friends. Everyone in the group, I think, is like childhood friends or something. There's I can't remember any of the characters' names either. There's this lady that's part of their group that she seemed really nice. She ends up hooking up with Paul Rudd's character. I know the actress was in Westworld. I just can't remember her name. She, I think, out of everyone in their group, has like the least to do, to the point where like when it has the little epilogue that's showing what all the characters did and stuff, her thing is just like, oh, she married Paul Rudd's character, and that's it. And then there's a 4th dude. He's played by the guy that plays Greg Heffley's dad in the original Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies, because I forgot that they had like, there was like a bunch of them in the early 2000s. Those are the ones I kind of grew up with a little bit. And then they made more, but they changed the actors for Roderick, and people didn't like that, which I totally agree with them on that. But yeah, I know that actor just as like the guy that plays Greg Heffley's dad, and I remember him as in that role was kind of weird. He's like the weirdest character in this movie, but he was honestly my favorite because he's actually pretty funny. I I knew that this was going to be a comedy movie. I just assumed it was going to be like a parody or something. I don't know if it's really like a parody of the original Anaconda, because I heard the original Anaconda is supposed to be like a horror movie and probably taking itself seriously. The thing is, I didn't really find this funny, and it didn't really feel like it was trying to parody these kind of movies or anything. It's like the characters for most of the movie were acting like completely serious and stuff, and since the movie already wasn't funny, I just felt kind of bored, honestly. I can't even say if I feel disappointed, not just because I don't know the source material, but also I didn't really know what I was going into exactly. I didn't know, like, really anything about the movie other than, okay, it's these two guys that are gonna go hunt down a snake. And because I only saw, like, Jack Black and Paul Rudd on all the posters, I assumed it was gonna be, like, just the two of them as, like, a comedy of, like, I thought it was just gonna be these two guys who were probably idiots or something who were gonna go track down a snake, and not a bunch of people trying to achieve their dreams to make an indie film about a snake. They don't even try to find like the actual anaconda. It's that they have this guy who's like a snake expert. He was, I think, my second favorite character, actually. He's only in like the first half of the movie, and he has his own snake, and that's the snake the characters were going to use for their like movie they're making. And that guy's pretty cool. He's like really, really into a snake. I thought maybe he might have been like attracted to the snake or something. It was kind of giving that vibe. And then his snake ends up dying because Paul Rudd's character accidentally kills it because he like freaks out over something. He like thinks the snake is going to kill him, but it's not. The snake's pretty chill. And they have like a funeral for the snake, but it's like a comedic funeral, so it's like a little bit funny. Yeah, and that guy ends up getting eaten by the anaconda, and that's like finally the point where the other characters realize like, oh, there's an anaconda, and the movie kind of actually gets better from there. They also try to have this plot line besides of the characters are making the movie, and then eventually the second half of the movie is them like trying to escape and survive the anaconda. The other plot thing in the movie is that there's this young woman, and I think her name's Anna, and I only remember that because they make a joke about her name in the movie being called Anaconda. And she you just see her at the beginning. She's like escaping these two guys that are trying to chase after her, and she fakes being the group's ship captain, riverboat captain or something. And you think, because you don't really know why they're chasing her, you just assume they're like bad guys or whatever, and she's like you don't really know what her motives are or anything, and she lies to the group saying that the people chasing her are like gold thieves or whatever, or like gold miners or something, and then she turns out to be the gold miner, and the people that are chasing her are actually cops. To be fair, she does kind of try to keep the group alive a little bit, but yeah, no, she eventually just does not care about them and is like going to shoot them and stuff. And I thought, like, oh, okay, that's at least sort of an interesting twist. Because I originally thought she was, like, supposed to be a good person. She eventually joins their group or something. But no, she's a criminal. She was going to kill them. And the cops end up getting eaten or something. And I thought, like, oh, okay, maybe she's gonna be more involved with the movie now. Because even before then, not really. I feel like you see more scenes of her, like, trying to escape than the people that are chasing her than anything with her and this like movie crew or something. And I thought, oh, okay, maybe she's gonna be a threat besides the snake now that she's revealed to be like a bad guy. And then she gets eaten by the snake too, and with that the gold miners plot line just dissolves instantly. It takes up like the first half of the movie anyway. Like the movie is trying to set something up with it, and then it's just done, and it's like, oh, okay. I felt like it was just there just to add like a slight bit of tension, but it's not even really like a threat after that, and then from there it's just the snake. I do like that with the anaconda you only get to see like a little bit of it at times until it's not that like, oh, its face is hidden from you or anything like that, but you just see it, and it's in the water, and it eats a couple people, so you know, like, okay, it's around and stuff. And then it eventually tries to attack the characters. I thought it looked cool. You know, it's like a big CGI snake and stuff. I liked watching it where it would like coil around people. You don't actually see it really like squeeze or anything. It just would drag people underwater. The one thing that bothered me with it is that for some reason at the end of the movie when they're trying to kill the anaconda, it suddenly grows teeth. It grows all these like tiny but long, really sharp teeth. And I was sitting there and I'm like, I thought snakes devour people whole because they can't chew because they don't have teeth. So that was just like really weird to me. Like, are there kinds of snakes that like do have teeth? Did they just randomly add teeth to this anaconda to like make it scary? Because it didn't have teeth at like any other point in the movie. It's just like it's going to attack them and it like suddenly it has teeth. And that I know it's like a small thing, but it just like completely threw me off at that moment. And I'm like, all right. And they kill it pretty easily too. They just have these like flares. There's like a flare gun or something, and they shoot it at it. I mean, that's after it gets damaged by all these like pyrotechnics. Oh, I got to explain about that too. That part's actually kind of funny. And they shoot it with the flare gun, and then it just literally explodes, and that's it. And then they just go home. Because the thing with their movie that they end up making, like, they do get to film a lot of stuff, and then the entire time they're being chased around by the anaconda, I'm thinking, like, they're not filming any of this. Is this going to be one of those things where they, like, tell this story to the public and no one believes them of, like, hey, this giant snake that's just, like, eating people in Brazil or whatever? But then you get to see parts of what they recorded at the end when they're, like, showing it to an audience, and it includes the parts of, like, them with the giant anaconda and stuff, and I'm like, you guys weren't filming some of those things, or if it was like a different character that wasn't part of the scene. Like they show the part, oh wait, no, never mind, I was gonna say of them killing the anaconda, but I'm thinking of a different scene. But yeah, that was like another small kind of inconsistent. To be fair, you do see sometimes they're filming stuff with the giant anaconda like as they're in danger, but that's kind of about it. But it's, you know, it's there, it's a threat, it eats people. One of the things I found kind of funny, you know, because this is a movie that's made by Sony, like even see the Sony logo at the beginning of the movie, and that's the only reason I remembered, is there's this sort of tension between the characters at one point towards the end. It's like at the start of the third act or something, when they're on the water, they're like cruising to their next location to go and film, and they see a giant boat, and it's Sony, like the company in the movie, that are going to film an Anaconda remake, and the characters all get pissed at Jack Black's character because he had said was it Jack Black? No, it was Paul Rudd's character, because he originally convinces them to go make this movie with them of this Anaconda remake, this like indie Anaconda remake, because he says that he acquired the rights to Anaconda, but he lied the whole time, and that causes some tension between the group, and he ends up leaving, and they end up... No, I don't think they go to chase after him, actually. I think he eventually comes back to save them, or whatever. That part was actually kind of cool. I'll talk about... hold on, I think I'm getting a Discord message, then I'll talk... I was going to say I'm going to talk about some of the parts I found funny. Okay, I'm going to finish this up. Sorry, I got distracted. I was thinking of getting some coverings for a Switch thing and was trying to look through them. Okay, right, funny moments. Okay, this one's really stupid, but I cracked. There's like two moments I like actually laughed pretty hard at. I was gonna say cracked up, but I'm like, no, not that hard that I laughed at. Okay, I'll talk the more stupider one first, or like stupid looking. Okay, there's a part when Jack Black's character, there's like a tarantula on him, and he thinks that the tarantula bit him, and the like crazy guy in the group is like, all right, we gotta pee on you. Even though that's, I guess, just for jellyfish, except that the dude that suggested it has like he's like pee shy, as they call it, and then he says he can only like sit to pee, and then it cuts to like Jack Black's characters on the floor. The Paul Rudd is being used as a chair. The guy that's pee shy is sitting on top of him and is making all these weird ass faces, and then the lady is, I think, holding Jack Black's hand. I think at that point the gold miner woman has already like betrayed them and died, so it's just like the four of them at this point. But it just cuts to that shot of like there's just something about Paul Rudd being used as a chair for this person to pee on somebody else. It's like sounds really stupid and kind of gross. You don't like see anything, but that was actually kind of funny. And then there's another part where Jack Black actually gets eaten by the Anaconda. I didn't think he was gonna die, especially because they mentioned earlier in the movie of like sometimes the Anaconda will like spit someone out, basically like regurgitate them. So he gets regurgitated out along with like a pig. They find his body in the floor. They assume he's dead because someone did not take his pulse correctly or whatever. So they tie the pig to Jack Black's character because they need to get across like an open field or something, and then one of them stuffs a dead squirrel inside of Jack Black's mouth, and they just leave him there in the field, and they're like, the Anaconda comes and they're running or they're going to run or something, and then they see that Jack Black suddenly opens his eyes and he spits out the dead squirrel because he doesn't know why that's in there, and then he has to run away, and they're like screaming at him, you have to run away from the Anaconda. And then the pig that is tied to his back, where it's the dead pig's head is on top of Jack Black's head, is also alive, and it starts squealing and freaking out, and he has to close its mouth because he thinks that the pig's gonna bite him. That was pretty funny. I'd say those were like the two funniest parts. What else? And then I'd say the other funny parts are mostly just like the guy that plays Greg Heffley's dad doing funny things. At one point he takes the snake handler's pills and then ends up like super high or whatever. Not as funny as you'd think it would be, but it's like a little humorous. The snake handler guy is also kind of funny. Like I said, he was like my second favorite character. I'm already spoiling things with this movie, but I'm gonna spoil some. There's like cameos. Ice Cube shows up. He shows up for like a couple minutes. He saves the group when they're in danger, and they take a selfie with him, and he tells them like, hey, don't go posting this in social media. And then they post it on social media after they survived the snake and stuff. And then he leaves because he's like, okay, I gotta go rescue J-Lo. And then J-Lo herself appears, and it's kind of funny because she shows up at the end during the credits or something. It's like it's at the epilogue where it shows Jack Black's character at home, and J-Lo appears at his door, and she's like, hey, I saw that little movie that you made that was probably illegal to make. They're gonna make an actual Anaconda remake or whatever, we want you to direct it. And then he faints, and that's it. But just the fact they had J-Lo there show up to this guy's door like it was like a Marvel recruiting thing at the end was funny. I feel like I haven't seen her in a movie in a while. I know there was like a romance one. I don't remember if Owen Wilson was in it, that came out a couple years ago. It's like the last thing I'd heard of her in. But yeah, her and Ice Cube were, I guess, in the original Anaconda movies. I think I enjoyed Ice Cube's cameo in this more. I hadn't seen him in anything in like a long time. But yeah, it was cool to see them regardless. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it that I can think of that I like found funny or enjoyed. Like I said, I think the movie's just okay. I just still wanted to talk about it anyway because it's been a couple months since I've like seen anything in a theater. I don't know when I'll go again is the funny thing. Like there's some movies that were coming out, like I mentioned, about like Avatar, Zootopia 2, where I probably would have enjoyed to see those instead. But like I said, I let my dad pick. He also gave us both a ride to the theater, so I thought that was fair. But it was still nice. Like in terms of an experience, it was nice going to like the movies with one of my parents again. I haven't done that in like years. And the movie theater wasn't that bad. I just sometimes kind of miss going to a movie theater every once in a while. I'm so glad that the kids behind us weren't like disruptive or anything. I got like worried when I saw that they literally filled the entire row of seats behind us, and that's like a lot of seats. So I wasn't surprised that there wasn't too many people. Plus this movie came out around Christmas. I'm recording this in like early January. I don't know if I could recommend this, honestly. I mean, I thought it was okay. Maybe it's funnier if you like go to see it with friends. I feel like it's one of those movies that's like it's like a little stupid and you kind of just have to go into the movie knowing that, but it's not stupid to the point where it's like it's so stupid it's funny. It's just a little stupid. I wish it leaned more into the comedy, because when the movie was trying to be serious with like its characters and stuff, I just felt kind of bored. I was like, I just want to see the giant snake like killing people. I feel like if it either leaned more into comedy or more into horror, I would have enjoyed it, but instead it just kind of coasted on both. I mean, no, it didn't really have horror. I mean, there were some jump scares with the snakes, and I'm a baby when it comes to jump scares, so I jumped. I knew when to kind of cover my ears, because you can like tell a jump scare is coming, and I still jumped anyway. But I do that for movies that even like aren't horror and stuff. Like I said, I'm like a baby when it comes to jump scares. I don't like them. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on Anaconda. And that, not Anaconda, Anaconda. It was all right. That's kind of all I can say, but I thought I'll talk about it anyway. I mean, I'll watch. Okay, no, that's not true. I was about to say I'll watch anything with Jack Black, but that's not true. But in terms of his more like recent projects like this or the Minecraft movie, they've been fun. He seems like he's picking some like kind of fun roles and stuff. Oh my gosh, speaking of the Minecraft movie, you'll probably get a review of the whenever the sequel comes out. I just realized from me, I didn't watch the Minecraft. I'm going off slight tangent here. I didn't watch the Minecraft movie in theaters. My dad really wanted to see the Minecraft movie, and I was like, let's wait till it comes into streaming, because he already doesn't like going to theaters, and with the complete insanity of the Minecraft movie theater experience, I did not want to put my incredibly introverted dad through that nightmare. So we watched it at home, and he really liked it, and he was excited when there was a sequel. So that might be the next Jack Black movie that I'll be watching and doing a review of whenever the heck that comes. Or no, I'm sorry. The Super Mario Galaxy movie I think comes out in like April or something. I don't care which of my friends or my brother I have to drag to see that with me. To be fair, they'd all go willingly. They're all like just as excited as I am, I'm assuming. But yeah, I'm gonna watch that Jack Black's Bowser. I will probably cry because it's Super Mario Galaxy. That's like one of my childhood games. But that will probably be the next Jack Black thing I talk about on here in terms of movies. All right, but yeah, that's Anaconda. Like I said, I don't know if I could recommend it. I'd say even maybe not. I didn't like hate it or anything. It was just okay, you know. All right, bye.